Hey everybody, today we have more printmaking to do. So yesterday you were using your plate, your foam plate, and you were pushing circles into it with marker caps with the end of your stylus. You punched holes in it and maybe colored in a little bit more, made a few little more lines. Today we're going to print it again using the second color. So you already should have your aprons on. If you haven't done that, in a couple of minutes you'll be getting up and moving around. You can put your aprons on then. You want to make sure that you have newspaper out on your table when you print today. We are going to real quick talk about how to print your second color, and then before the video is over I'm going to give you a few reminders on cleanup and give you a couple of jobs. Alright, so printing. Very similar to yesterday. We're going to start off by getting the next color. My first color on my print was orange, and today I'm going with red. Red's darker, so we always go with our number one, our lightest color, and then a color that's darker, and tomorrow we'll do one that's even darker. When you go up to get your ink, your teacher will help you get ink out, but the first time we get ink, I'd like you to make sure you get a little bit of assistance with that. We're going to get enough to do a few prints. Remember, that's a lot of ink. You don't use it all at the same time. So we'll put some ink on there. You and your partner will share both a brayer and a bench hook. And you'll bring it back to your table. I like to hook it on the edge. And start by just taking a little bit of that ink, putting it on the brayer, and then you've got to smear it around. You have to lift up your brayer in order to get it even. See, it's spotty right now. And you have to lift it up and move it around so it starts to get smeared out. Looks like I might need just a little bit more. Lifting up my brayer makes it nice and even. Alright, it's almost there. It's a little streaky still. There we go. Sounds like Velcro and looks like an orange peel. I'm going to print my plate again. I've washed this off with a little soap and water and then dried it really well. You don't want to print if it's full of fingerprints, and you don't want to print if it's still wet. So make sure it's nice and dry and clean. I'm going to go over it. I can start to see all those circles show up that I made. And I did one coat here. I'm going to need a little bit more. And I'm going to go in more than one direction, making sure I get a nice even coat and making sure I go all the way to the edges. And I might do just a little bit more. Okay, that's good. We don't want to sit and roll and roll and roll. It'll dry out the ink. Now, I'm going to print, and actually my table is a little bit dirty here. I'm going to grab another piece of, I don't have another piece of newspaper, so I'm going to put this down, but you'll use a second piece of newspaper to make sure you have a clean spot to print. Before I can put this down, I have to line it up. I got to find the top and find the top of my paper so I know which way it goes. I'll just start on one end. Doesn't really matter where you start. Try to get it lined up as best you can, nice and straight. Once I put it down, even if it's a little bit crooked, I don't want to move it. So I'm going to flatten it out, get it stuck, and then flip it over. And I'm going to rub the back side. Always rub the paper side. Rubbing the foam doesn't do much. I got to rub all the way to the edges. Sometimes our prints don't get rubbed enough right on the edges. You want to make sure you go over the whole thing for at least a minute. Ooh, my hand's getting warm. The switch. I won't rub for a whole minute because I want to make this a speedy process. But you can see what it'll look like now after a second color is done. And all the new circles that I've carved out stay orange. They stay the last color. So it starts to get really exciting. So you're going to move this aside. I'll pull this off so I can work in my dirty space again. And I'll just keep on printing. Print it again, okay, and put it on. While I'm rubbing, while I'm doing my print, my partner is going to be rolling their ink on. So you switch off every other one. I get to do a print, my partner does a print. I do a print, my partner does a print. That way it'll go really speedy. If you ever need more ink, you'll go back up and get a little bit more. You want to print all 4 today at one time. It makes it much easier. Then they'll dry overnight and you'll get to do something else tomorrow. Let's see. Clean up today. Cody is going to do the sink checking. So Cody, make sure at the very end of class, when everything's finished, your teacher will have you go around and check sink by sink, and then you get to pick somebody to clean the sinks if they're still dirty. The equipment needs to be clean and dry and put away. And if I haven't assigned somebody to check in the equipment yet, we'll do that. And make sure that when you take it back, you inspect it really well. The groups, in just a minute here, what you're going to be doing is getting into your groups. So you're going to get into groups by color. So first, all the orange people, if you are printing with orange ink today, you can stand up. Go ahead and do that now. So orange people, stand up, find each other, and go off to the side so you can partner up. Let's do that with all the colors. So orange people find each other. And now red people can stand up. Anybody who's printing with red today, pick a partner. Green, anyone who's doing green. Turquoise. And I don't think we'll have too many of the darker colors yet today, but possibly. Anyone who's doing blue. And then violet and black are the last colors. Go find a partner who is doing the same color as you. Go find where you're going to sit, and then in just a couple of minutes we will get out the ink and all the equipment. Alright, have a good day, clean up really well, help your teacher out. Thanks, you guys.